One down, four to go. Today we're ranking the top 10 shooting guards going into next NBA season. As always, drop your list in the comment section below, and if you do, I get back to every single comment. Now, the criteria is simple. Based on impact or numbers, or maybe a combination of both if you're that good, you were ranked accordingly on my list today. Again, we're going into next season. This is not based strictly on potential, and it's not strictly based on your legacy. It is as of right now. So that is, of course, the criteria. Guys like Dyson Daniel and Herb Jones, defensive aces, definitely have an argument to be on the list today. And then you have some offensive guys like Brandon Miller and Andrew Nembhard, guys that have had big moments at different levels. But both these guys are very talented offensively. Regardless, these are guys that just missed the list, but don't be shocked if they are staples on this list for years to come. Now, at number 10 is arguably the best defender in the game, period. Though his numbers aren't glamorous, this is a guy that always seems to make the right play, and there's a reason. He's won 2 championships with 2 different franchises. This Thunder team, though they were a historic group, they don't get past the second round without little old 6'3", bald-headed defensive ace Alex Caruso taking the assignment of the best player in the world, Nikola Jokic. Mind you, in the playoffs, a must-have win situation. They trusted Alex Caruso over anybody on this talented Thunder roster to guard the best player in the world. Alex Caruso made Jokic's job as hard as possible. Maybe he guarded him better than anybody in the league has in the last year or so. Regardless, Caruso just always seems to make the right play, like I said, and he is the perfect glue guy on any championship team. At number 9 is arguably the best tertiary star in the game in Austin Reeves, not Alex Reeves, Austin Reeves. But this is a guy that in his entire career not only has had to deal with the pressure of playing on an LA Lakers roster, but this is a guy that has had to adapt to not only one, but now 2 of the most ball-dominant players in NBA history, LeBron and Luka Doncic. Despite that, he's averaging 20 and 6 a game while shooting great from the field. Austin Reeves, sure, not the defensive player of Alex Caruso, but for Austin Reeves, what he brings offensively is special. You just want to see it be a little bit more consistent when we get to these big-time games and moments, especially in the playoffs, which he struggled last year. But for Austin Reeves, again, he's had nothing but pressure on him his entire career, and he's thrived, in my opinion. At number 8 is where the controversy starts, in my opinion, because I have Ahmed Thompson, a guy that is so young, but man, he's talented. He is on the same level of defender of Alex Caruso, but he's miles better offensively, maybe on the level of Austin Reeves. 14 points, 8 rebounds a game last year. Didn't shoot the greatest from the field, but I think when you look at his splits from the last 2 months of the season, including the playoff run, I think that's just a sample size of what we're going to get going into the future with number 1 from Houston. Now that Kevin Durant's in town, I think we're going to see a different side of Ahmed Thompson as far as defensively. I think he takes it up to another level. It's going to be scary to see his potential in the coming years, but as of right now, he's already number 8 on the list. Now let's talk about some veterans. At number 7, I have arguably the best perimeter defender in the game, Mikal Bridges, a guy that last year I think we can collectively agree was a down year for him offensively. But with that being said, he still averaged 18 on good efficiency while adapting to a whole new system, though he is familiar with the similar players. Regardless, this is a guy that you just want to see on some nights in those key games late in the season and into the playoffs where he can sometimes be the Robin on this team. You know, give Cat or Jalen Brunson an off night offensively, or hey, if they don't have it going, here comes Mikal Bridges that can be efficient but dominant on the court with his offensive numbers. If he can add that to his game this year, I think there's no doubt about it. The Mikal Bridges and the Knicks will win the Eastern Conference, and that's coming from a Cavaliers fan. Talk about adapting. Desmond Bane finally gets a fresh start now in Orlando, coming off a year where he averaged 19 and 6 a game. This is a guy that fills a lot of voids for this Orlando team. By the way, Orlando that was the worst offense in the league last year. Desmond Bane comes in as an elite spacer, which they desperately needed, a good defender, and he's a pretty good facilitator. Doesn't get the respect he deserves. Outside of that, this is a guy that does bring veteranship to this young team, but I think, again, he fills a lot of voids for this young Orlando team, and I'm excited to see if he, combined with Franz and Paolo Banchero, can put it all together in year number 1 and make a surprising run in this Eastern Conference, because it's wide open outside of those top 2 teams which we both saw fall in the postseason last year. So Desmond Bane definitely has the potential to leave a huge impact in year number one. Moving into the top five, I have Zack Lavine, a guy that is one of the best scorers in the game today. No questions about it. 22 points on great efficiency from the field. And though his situations haven't been great in his career, his numbers and his impact has been there as far as what he can do offensively, but it just hasn't led to winning. And a part of that could be he's an average defender. Part of that could be he's not really a well-rounded player. But again, situations have never been perfect for Zack Lavine to dominate, just like they won't be for 2025 as he goes into a Kings team that is obsessed with purgatory, and I'll leave it at that. Now, at number 4 is maybe one of the biggest guys as far as impact to winning, Derrick White. He jumps up 4 spots from last year's list, coming off a year where he averaged 16 and 5 a game on pretty good efficiency. This is a guy that's going into a year with no Jason Tatum, with no Drew Holiday, and no Kristaps Porzingis. It is Jaylen Brown as the Batman and Derrick White as the Robin. And boy, he needs to be that this year, especially if this team wants to stay in the mix. Again, this is a guy that always seems to make the right play. He's one of the best perimeter defenders in the game. This year, though, you want to see him maybe take a little bit of a step back defensively and add to the offensive side of the ball. Because if he can, this is a team that's so well coached and in a wide open conference, I can see the Celtics still being in the mix due to Derrick White's impact. Moving into the top 3, these names are solidified. We'll start with one of the best scorers of the generation in Devin Booker, now a gold medalist since last year's list. But this is a guy that averaged 26 and 7 a game. Now, since the title run in Phoenix, it hasn't been very sunny. I'm sorry, I had to put that line in there. But since that point, Devin Booker has improved dramatically as a defender and a facilitator, as we saw this previous season. So not only is he one of the generation's best scorers, but he's also well-rounded his game. Devin Booker's so special. I've found myself to be more of a fan of him each and every season. I just want to say this. Don't let his current situation in Phoenix and the roster construction blind you of his talent. He's one of the best of this generation. Now, my bias might come into play here, but at number 2, I have Spider Donovan Mitchell, one of the best leaders in the game today, and that goes widely unnoticed. A guy that has stepped foot into Cleveland. He's been All-NBA every single year. The record has improved every single year, and this past year, we were the second best team in the NBA, the first 60-win season without LeBron James on a Cleveland Cavaliers roster. Donovan Mitchell's special. This is the guy that in the playoffs went into God mode, so to speak. And honestly, I think he has an argument to be a top 10 player in the game today. Regardless, he'd be towards the tail end. But still, Donovan Mitchell's special. I just hope that going forward as a Cavaliers fan, that the rest of this team can step up around him, because he's the only one on the roster right now that has a backbone. But if we can get anybody to step up on this roster outside of Evan Mobley and Donovan Mitchell, we should dominate the Eastern Conference next season. And at number 1, as if there is going to be a question for the next decade, Anthony Edwards, 28 and 6 a game last year, but that's really not even the start of how great of a player he is. This is the guy that made back-to-back Western Conference Finals with a different co-star, by the way. Incredibly hard to do. This past year, he shot a career high from 3, making himself even more unguardable as a player. Maybe the third time is the charm. Maybe this year he makes the conference finals and he can actually get over the top. The one thing I will say that this Timberwolves team has over a lot of others, they have the continuity and they have the leadership. This is a team that's coming back practically the same, but they get to add Rob Dillingham into the mix. So maybe Dillingham and Anthony Edwards can be that offensive punch in the backcourt that they didn't have in years prior outside of number 1. But again, this is the guy that's going to dominate this number 1 spot for the next 5 to 10 years. But here's the tale of the tape. 1 through 5 goes as follows. Edwards at 1, Spider at 2, D-Book at 3, arguably 3 top 15 players in the world right there. Derrick White at 4 and Zack Lavine at 5. Derrick White and Zack Lavine might be a little controversial, but regardless, Derrick White's play has led to winning, and he's a better two-way player. Desmond Bane, Mikal Bridges, Ahmed Thompson, and then to close off the list, Austin Reeves and Alex Caruso. Drop your list in the comment section below. Year 3 of these shooting guard rankings are now finalized. And next week, hey, we're going to get into the small forwards.